Well, good morning, everyone. Today is Friday and it is day 134 of our quest to lose 150 pounds and become healthier. There's something on the lens. Struggling a little bit this morning. If you guys saw yesterday, we, after dinner, went to the movies and we were with some friends. And after the movies, it was so two things were happening. One, there was Argentina, the Argentinian soccer team was playing last night. And it's also a holiday here. I don't know exactly what kind of a holiday it is, but yesterday and today were holidays. So, people were out in full force. Nobody had to work today, I guess, in general. Some people do, I guess. But anyway, so everyone suggested we go and have a drink somewhere. And I had accounted for the popcorn that is something that Jolima must get when we go to the movies. So I had accounted for that, and I gave myself more than in the numbers, I guess, in keeping track. I gave myself more than I probably ended up eating. But I hadn't accounted for a beer that I ended up having after the fact. I didn't really want to do it. I was feeling tired. At that point, I was feeling very cravey and tired and just wanted to come home. Jolima really wanted to stay out for a little bit. And so I ended up going over my carbs and maybe a little bit over my calories, although I think that for the week, I'm pretty okay. When we look at the general trend for the week. But I woke up this morning and just, well, obviously we went to bed a little bit later, and that means that I woke up a little bit later this morning and just feeling kind of off in general. But today is Friday and we have a workout, so let me just get ready and we'll get going. We'll do our workout and just try to keep going with the day. But not really feeling it today. We'll see you guys in a bit. All right, well, let's get going with this. It is difficult on a day like today when you don't feel like really doing it. But I guess that's why we're here. We're trying to keep each other motivated and accountable. And so that's why we do this every Monday and Friday. But it is tricky. It is hard. You just don't feel like doing anything. I don't feel like doing anything. I am feeling so lethargic. And again, seem to be going through I still feel like I'm going through the initial withdrawal of eliminating more processed sugar from my diet. And so, I don't know. I seem to be having a thought that I have no idea if it's valid at all or not, but let's get going with this and I'll share with you guys. We can talk about it a little bit. We're going to do sets of 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Ooh. It's definitely hard today. So I seem to be having a thought about why, this is not the first time that I've been, that I do sort of cutting out processed sugar, kind of cold turkey. And so for the last few weeks, as you guys know, if you've been following, I was trying to figure out my motivation, trying to figure out reasons to keep going. And if you're thinking right now, well, isn't wanting to be healthy and not die young enough? Well, apparently the answer is no. If it were that easy, then more of us would do it. But if we're struggling with it, then the answer is no. Anyway, so I was indulging in more sugar, and I finally got to the point for this week where we're doing what we're doing again, getting back to really eating as well as we can and making sure that we're not really having any of the processed, not even just processed, but highly processed sugar that we were using, that we were eating the week before. And there's always this, I call it sugar withdrawal, and kind of like that withdrawal syndrome, like when people are withdrawing from drugs or something like that. And it just, all the physical aspects of it. And I keep thinking about it, and I think, could it be that because I was having so much of that highly processed sugar that is, available for the body like that as energy, that my body then gets used to doing that, receiving those shots of sugar and using them for quick energy. And it's basically having that. And then the moment I remove those sources, then my body is like, we want them. And it's asking for those. It's not tapping into my fat stores for energy as we want it to, but it's still refusing to use those and expecting the sugar. And so that's why the moment I cut it out of my diet, I feel lethargic, I feel, all these things. I feel lethargic, I feel moody, cranky, have a headache, all of those things. And so I keep thinking, is that a thing? Is that a thing? And I don't know, maybe it is. Maybe it is. It's certainly interesting to think about that. And so then I guess I just have to get through this to make sure that my body understands eventually, like, okay, sugar isn't coming. We might as well start using the stored fat for energy. And that's when things start moving again. I don't know. All right, let me do another set. We'll keep talking. We're going from 15 to 30. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. And so, this is really hard today. Anyway, so I just thought maybe that's it. Maybe that's something that's happening. And it's certainly an interesting thought to have. I think I'll sit here, talk to you guys. But whatever it is tricky. And it makes it hard. Also, interestingly enough, my lumen reading was a 2 this morning. And again, if you don't know what lumen is, it's that device that I use to measure my metabolism and see if my body is doing what we want it to do, which is use any carbs that I eat right away for energy and then go back to fat burn, which is how we're going to continue to lose weight and get healthier and stuff. But so Wednesday I had, a perfect diet. And so, I was under my carbs. I met all my protein and fat goals. I met my calorie goals, like all of those things. And it was perfect. I stopped eating. My intermittent fasting window was only 6 hours. Like everything was perfect. I guess perfect is not the right word, but perfect for what we were trying to do, I guess. And I woke up yesterday and I got a 3, which in lumen terms is, not in fat burn. I was burning more carbs than fat. Basically it's saying I ate too many carbs even though I didn't. And so they have a way to explain that, like maybe I ate too much protein, and something I read, I'm gonna have to look this up, but it was saying something about how even extra protein, like having too much protein, can get you into carb burning mode. I don't know, so maybe that was it, but I just thought it was interesting that I ate little carbs, plenty of protein and fat and healthy fats, and I got a 3. Yet yesterday we went to the movies, I had popcorn late, I had a beer late, like close to midnight, yet, this morning I wake up and I'm in fat burn. And so, who knows? Who knows about these things? All right, we're going from 30 to 45. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. Ooh, this is really taking it out of me today. Fuck. This feels hard. And so, I just think it's interesting. The human body is such a complex thing that, again, trying to explain away things in a sort of like all-encompassing single version of truth just doesn't work. And I know that a lot of people that make these suggestions are they mean well, but there's such I want to say it's kind of like a very tribalistic mentality when it comes to nutrition and exercise. And people become religious about that shit, where only they have, the real truth. Their version of it is the real truth. And if you're not doing it, well, then that explains why you suck and you can't lose weight. And so I just think it's interesting that there is such an attitude towards nutrition where it's very specific about like an all or nothing kind of mentality. And I think the reality, like with most things, as I've learned in my life, lies somewhere in between. And the truth is probably a lot less exciting than we want it to be. Just boring old shit like we're doing right now. So, all right, we're at 45. We're going to 60. 47, 48, 49, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. 60. Yeah, this is tricky. It's hard. But we're here. And we're doing it. And that is really all that counts. Is that we're here and we're doing it. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it wrong? I can't imagine that it is. But is it wrong to acknowledge these feelings of dreading a workout? Because it goes very much against the hustle at all costs culture that seems to be a big part of the wellness, the fitness and wellness community. I don't know. I mean, it's difficult for me to be unbiased because I've never been part of that community. I've never considered myself to be a fit person. I mean, other than when I was a kid. But as an adult, I've never been part of that community. So that hustle mentality does not come naturally to me. This, like I was thinking about, I talked a few days ago about some of the videos that I made where I was being a little more provocative with the titles because I was in that moment, and I talked about this, how I was starting to let the videos or the appeal of the videos, or the potential appeal of videos, I guess, dictate what I was making videos about. And so I tried to be a little more provocative with the titles, and it sort of attracted the wrong crowd. People were very mean, for one, but very like, you just need to stop whining and get to the gym. And, sort of that mentality that's very like hustle, stop being a pussy and get to the gym. And not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, I wish I had that. I wish that I had more of that drive in that way. But then is it wrong to be on this side and recognize those feelings in terms of what they actually are? I mean, I could try to lie to myself, and I don't know, maybe is that something that you're supposed to do? Sort of like, fake it till you make it type thing. That you lie to yourself until eventually you just, you fake it till you make it. And then you have that drive. I don't know, is that the way to do it? Seems miserable to me. I mean, I have tried that in the past and it's never worked. Something in here doesn't click. Something in here doesn't click. Something in here doesn't click. And so, I don't know, but it is also very easy to discount those people, saying like, oh, these are fucking meatheads who got nothing up here, or I don't know, some of the things that people say, not that I believe it, I actually don't. And so what I'm saying is, it's very easy to discount someone saying that because it doesn't align with how I'm feeling, but I can take a moment and consider, am I wrong for trying to figure out why I have those feelings, and is there a better way to improve, and do they have some things that we can take, even if we don't naturally align with that sort of mentality, do they have some aspects of the way they do things, that hustle culture, that we could take I don't know. I guess this is my motto. This is my MO, my modus operandis, which is I'm probably wrong about most things and I'm open to learning. But it's tricky because there's a lot of information and misinformation out there, and dialing that filter to the right amount of skepticism but openness is hard. It's definitely hard. We're at 60, going to 75. 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75. 75. But this is definitely taking it out of me today. I don't feel like doing this at all. And then, I guess, are we doing ourselves a disservice by entertaining that thought and just letting it out? Like me saying, oh, I don't feel like doing this. Does that actually hurt our mental state as opposed to maybe trying to be more positive, like, yeah, this is a good burn. I'm glad I'm doing this. I don't feel that way, but is that something we have to do? It feels fake. And I have a difficult time wrapping my head around that, because it feels like some of those affirmations, that, I don't know, it's like, mental health gurus are always saying, like, you have your affirmations. I am powerful. I am valuable. That shit has never really clicked for me. I don't seem to have that. I don't seem to get that. And I don't know, just Jolima and I have been watching Game of Thrones, which is the first time I'm actually watching it. I'd never watched it before, but she's a big fan and she's insisted for years that we watch it. And now it finally became the time to do it because, why not? And there was a thing where, an episode at some point, where Tywin Lannister, I can't believe I even know the names now. Joffrey was king, and then he kept saying, like, well, I'm the king, and you gotta respect me, or whatever. And then Tywin, which is his grandfather, who's the real king that's running things behind the scene, says, if you gotta tell anybody that you're the king, then you're not the king. And so if you have to convince someone else that you are that, then clearly you're not that. So if you have to, like, convince yourself that you're happy, then you're not happy. And I don't want to use the word happy because it's such an elusive term, and it's a bigger conversation for another time, I guess. But, if you're telling someone that you're mentally strong and you have to say it in that way, are you really? And so that's sort of what those sort of positive affirmations have always felt like to me. They feel like they've always felt really empty. And so I've never really subscribed to that. But I don't know, maybe they work for some people. And again, that's why I'm posing the question. All right, we're at 75, we go into 90. 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90. Whew. We only got 10 more. Let's see if we can get them done quickly. This is hard. Now, luckily, I don't have to cook today because we still have leftover chicken curry from yesterday. So on that front, we are good. We are good. So we can eat a little bit faster. But yeah, I'm just feeling really out of it. All right, the last 10, we can go to the my brain isn't working. Curls. The curls. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 100. Okay. All right, that's done. That's done. Now let's do 4 sets of 20 curls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Fuck. Oh, that feels hard. It burns. It burns. Definitely a very interesting topic of conversation while we're doing this. Questioning the intrinsic motivation of working out while we're actually working out. Or I guess the lack of intrinsic motivation for working out while we're actually working out. I don't know, it feels interesting, very existential. I want to be done with this. It's also a very gray, rainy, lazy day, which I don't particularly have a problem with, but I don't know. Does that affect my mood a little bit? Am I a little photosensitive? 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, and 40. Whatever it is, it has not been easy today. It has not been easy to do. All right, let's try to get through one more, because I really want to be done soon. Almost there. One, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, and 60. Ooh. All right. We're almost done. Almost done. Just one more. Just one more. One more set. And then we are done. So yesterday ended up being a big day for walking and for stepping, for steps. I think the final count was about 14,000 steps, which is pretty good. So in terms of getting our steps in and meeting our daily activity goal, we're good. But I feel like when we're walking, and not really just in general walking, because we do a lot of walking here really, but I don't get my heart rate high enough, I guess. And so in that way, I don't know if I'm getting the full benefits of those walks based on the stuff that I've read. I don't know. It is certainly better than nothing, obviously, of course, but I keep reading about the zone 2, being in that zone 2, and I don't think I get it that high. Okay. So, let's do our last set. 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, and 80. All right, done. Done. So let me just be done with this. Let's go and take a look at lunch. We'll take a look at some of the numbers. And that is it. Thank you guys for working out with me. One more day down. We're getting closer. We're doing it. Let's take a look at what I have decided to do for lunch. And again, I'm sort of looking at it before the fact, I guess. In here we got, let's see, today is June 21st, yeah. Okay, so we're in the right date. And we have I only log the macros because it's easier to kind of bring those over. But basically the chicken curry gives us these macros: 11 grams of carbs, 69 of protein, 66 of fat, and 114 calories. But then I am going to increase the protein a little bit. And so I'm adding 20 grams of pea protein and 20 grams of collagen peptides. And so that'll give us 34 more grams of protein and only 1 extra gram of carbs, which is perfect. And then, of course, the indulging to make it a little bit, I don't know, just to indulge a little bit. I'm going to have 100 grams of rice and 20 grapes, because that seems to help right now quite a bit. So this, we have 1,250 calories for lunch, and then that gives us 57 grams of carbs, 107 grams of protein, and 66 grams of fat. So as you can see here, we're getting about 1/3 of our carbs, about 2/3, a little over almost 3/4 of our protein, and about like 55% of our fat. And that is what we're going to be doing for lunch. We are hosting some people this afternoon for like a get together, and I'm hoping that things don't get out of hand food-wise, because I am not strong enough. But again, this is what we're working with. This is what we're working towards, and I need to remind myself that the efforts that we're making right now are to try to get out of that self-imposed jail where I have to control my environment, otherwise I can't control myself. And so I guess the first step is to recognize that and then be able to control it a little bit, a little more mindfully. But anyway, just wanted to give you guys an update on the sorry, my brain's not working. On the lunch, I need to go make lunch. Let's go heat up the lunch and eat it. I'll show you guys what it looks like. You already know what the numbers are. Yeah. All right, see you in a bit. All right, and this is what we have. So what I did was I put the pea protein directly in the plate, because Julima doesn't really want the extra protein, doesn't really like. The pea protein adds a little bit of flavor, but not too much. But anyway, she doesn't want it. So I put it in the plate and then just added the soup on top. This is what 100 grams of rice looks like compared to my hand. And then I got my 20 grapes in here. These are black seedless grapes. And then a lime that I'm gonna be adding to the soup. And then today I will not be partaking in the beer. I'll just have some club soda. But yeah, so this is what those macros that we were just talking about look like. And that is it. So I'm gonna eat now, and yeah, just try to keep going, because it's just a very, very off day. All right, thank you guys. I'm gonna enjoy my lunch. Hope you do the same. See you in a bit. Well, hello you guys. It's technically the next day, but I didn't really get to finish the video yesterday, so I wanted to give you just a quick overview of the rest of the day. As I mentioned, we had some people over for, I guess what's called here a merienda, which is sort of like a mid-afternoon small meal, I guess, but almost like an afternoon tea, if you will. But it's actually a Colombian thing where it's like a hot cocoa, hot chocolate type thing with like bread and cheese. It's basically something that's... But people got here a little bit late because, you know, it is Latin America, and, you know, punctuality is really not that big here. So by the time... And, you know, luckily I don't really like hot chocolate because of the milk. I'm not a milk person. So I ended up having some tea with a little bit of honey. But the Monster was out in full force because I think I was getting hungry, and luckily, you know, I wasn't feeling the chocolate, so I wasn't really tempted by that or anything like that, but the bread. And so I didn't want to like excuse myself to go and have dinner by myself, but then I was really feeling the temptation of eating the bread. Like that was very difficult to control. I was feeling very overwhelmed and upset, and yeah, I guess that's the word, just upset. So I ended up giving in, and I had some bread with my tea, which wasn't really part of the plan, but I was feeling a little upset after, sort of giving in to the bread because that wasn't part of the plan. But then I thought about it, and it wasn't really that terrible when it comes down to it. I think I had 4 pieces of bread, and when I look at it, when I sort of plugged everything into the lumen, it wasn't, I still didn't go over my carbs, and I certainly didn't. I actually ended up eating less calories yesterday, so it was only like 2,000 calories for the whole day. Then after the bread, people were, after having the meal, people were hanging around, and Jolima decided to open a few bottles of wine, and so I had a couple glasses of wine, and everybody was just kind of hanging out for a while. And again, I was feeling upset, and I was feeling like I wanted to go eat. So I had that sort of very difficult impulse control thing, and I was upset. I was in a bad mood after everyone left. And interestingly enough, I was, people were like looking at the menu that we wrote on the window and like all of that stuff, and they wanted to talk about it. And I was feeling, I don't know if that happens to you guys, but I was feeling overwhelmed and upset, and I didn't really want to talk about it and get into it. And then everybody has their own opinions about like, oh, well, you should do this. Oh, well, you should do that. Oh, in that moment, I'm like, fuck everybody. I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to hear any suggestions or anything. I'm miserable right now. So that was basically the end of the day. It sort of ended on a sour note for me because I was feeling upset. But, I guess it's a victory because, I spent a great deal of the evening just sort of thinking, okay, when everybody leaves, I'm going to go eat. When everybody leaves, I'm going to go eat. And it was like, if you've been through something like that, you know exactly how powerful that is. And so that was basically it, and that's how the day ended. And I was too upset to like even think about coming to pick up the camera, and so I just fucking went to sleep. Actually, I went to the TV room and watched an episode of Game of Thrones, and then I went to sleep. But yeah, that was it. That was the end of it, and yeah, I'm just now thinking about the next day, which is today, but let's leave this video at this for now, and then we'll continue tomorrow. So today for me. All right, see you guys tomorrow.